closest places out of Blackwater or Rhodes. As far as towns are concerned, but
I myself have only been in the area for a scant few weeks, and I've only been close to Strawberry for most of the time, so I'm afraid I can't help you.
Blackwater's bound to be a little warmer, but I don't know what you need in regards to finding your maps.
Where could we go? You want to just head back to Valentine?
At the very least, I would like to do so. By now, maybe a friend of mine will have arrived, or at least messaged.
Yeah, I reckon. Reckon we should go back and see if Emmett's going to show his face.
All right, let's go meet your friend.
Okay.
I'd love to hear how he got himself out of this one.
Let's see.
In the end, the good and the righteous always prevail.
Does anything exciting happen on your journey? So, let's see. Let's see, 95. What's the result? I don't think I have ever rolled that one. Oh, that's already has happened. Okay. As you're traveling on the road, it's been like a few days after you left the fort, and you're traveling at the road, and in the middle of the road, you see a man, and he's wearing your typical bandana, and he's like in the middle of the road alone, and you see that there's a fallen tree in the middle of the road. But
I draw my pistol.
Then he notices all of you, and it's like, oh fuck, that's like 5 of them, and you see him run away.
Did that man just try to rob us on his own?
I think he might have, and he put a tree in the middle of the damn road. Son of a bitch, now we gotta get out and chop that tree down. Or at least get it out of the way. You think you could tie your bear up to it and have it pull it away?
I was about to suggest the same thing.
I believe most of you have ropes, since everybody starts with 50 feet of hemp
I'm
and rope.
literally using one of them to tie myself to a bear.
Yeah.
I am a tomb robber by original trade, and they receive rope.
So it takes you a little while, but with the bear's strength, you manage to pull out the dead tree trunk out of the way.
I like how the guy couldn't count. He's like, oh god, there's like 5 of you when there was 4 of us.
Ironically, at this point, I think the bear is not as strong as I am.
Yeah, you guys are probably much stronger than them, but... eat.
Actually, no, it still has 5 strength on me.
Oh!
But it is a bear, and I am a midget.
Had to roll a 1. With that, you waste a little bit of time on your journey. Not enough to waste another day of rations, but after 3 days of travel, you'll make it to Valentine. I was gonna make Curly to make it to Valentine too, but since Kai went away for a moment. That is not possible.
What isn't?
Let's see, anything happening on Valentine? 76. Ooh, the circus is in town.
Oh no, they're coming.
Oh no, they
from
found
there.
me. They finally found me.
Takes the Gatling gun we stole and sprays into them.
Oh no, wait, that's a traveling group of vagabonds. So much different. If that roll would have been slightly less, it would have been the circus. But it's the traveling group of vagabonds.
So we entered the town twice.
But so yeah,
A group
you
of
guys
gypsies show
are
up.
in Valentine. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna go to the pub and ask around if anyone's seen a man of the description of Emmett.
The hatless man.
You go up to over into the saloon and you ask around, and they're like, "Who's that?" And we
Oh,
don't
just
know.
someone.
We don't know anybody like that arriving in town.
That is very unfortunate.
Even at the secondary saloon over there, you don't really find anything. Which I would introduce again, Corey, to you, but
Listen, that just ain't gonna happen. It was prescribed in ancient stone tablets set long before any of our births.
the party
Well,
wants...
next I ask around for news about Strawberry.
Oh, yeah, you ask
Biding
around
his time.
about Strawberry, and you find out that the marshals are currently temporarily running the town. There's like a newspaper that you read that extracts read all about it. The mayor's been shot.
Does it mention Emmett dying?
It mentions the building burning and finding a couple of charred corpses inside of it.
Then you must have made it out.
It does mention that they suspect that one of the criminals who did it died in the fire.
Clearly propaganda.
Yeah, everyone knows that Emmett's immune to fire.
Yeah, he didn't die to that.
And speculation.
I'll have a
That's-
drink and then go visit Rika.
That's where I put all my points into. Anti-speculation.
Alright, you stop by the doctors, and they still say that, yeah, Rika's arms, they're not quite sure that, but they might have to amputate him.
both arms?
Yes.
After both legs are gone.
Yeah, so he legitimately is the Buster Scraggs thing.
The guy is just completely out of it still.
Well, I reckon we're down 2. Because these newspapers, them ain't kin to lie.
Hello.
Greetings.
Hey.
Shalom.
I feel like that's mild.
Well, you didn't say.
That's true. That is true.
I say we put it to a vote. Either you want to stay here in Valentine and see what sort of things we can get on into, or go to Rhodes. I would say that sticking around these parts, or rather, sorry, I would say that heading south towards Blackwater ain't too smart with what we done already got into.
I promised Emmett I'd meet him here, and I will keep my word.
Well, then I suppose we're hanging around here.
Okay.
Marcus, Kai is back. You can speak to him.
I see.
Yeah. Speak to me.
So, you guys are like walking in the middle of the town, and you have a kind of an unexpected meeting with one of your old acquaintances, which just happens to be Corey, who just managed to arrive in Valentine with her bodyguard.
Well, Your Highness, it's a good thing to see you again.
Ah, it's you. As it happens, I actually would have some words with you. Mind if we move somewhere a bit less crowded?
Well, of course. I would think any alleyway would do. People
I
don't
have
like to be in the
bodyguard.
same alleyway as Ross.
She nods.
Can't imagine why.
I mean, she bathes. Sometimes.
He. Rosinante is in fact male.
I always thought that it was a female name.
Funny thing, it isn't. Both here and in the original Don Quixote.
Huh. Although I suppose a knight would only ride a stallion. But anyway, we find a suitable alley.
Yeah, you go somewhere private, maybe like behind the bank. Nobody goes behind the bank.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a group of vagabonds, you know, loitering around the bank. That's not
Go up to
suspicious.
the church. Nobody went to the church. No, yeah,
Yeah.
but you find like a quiet little alleyway.
Right. So, before I begin, what is it that you are actually trying to do around here? Because the last thing that someone mentioned about your ambitions, they were more centered around Strawberry, and it appears that something or someone, she gestures rather knowingly, just caused a bit of a power shift in that area. So I would suppose if one were inclined to change the rulers, as it were, they would be on the right track.
I suppose they would be, if they weren't unconscious. Anyways, I am just here waiting for Emmett. We were supposed to meet here a few days ago. He's been late.
Oh? Where is Mr. Emmett?
Well, according to the newspaper, he's a pile of charred ash underneath that old shack they done purchased.
Shush voice in our heads. Well, last time I saw him was in Strawberry. Back at our old key. We were being assaulted by ruffians, you see, and he decided to hold them off until we could escape. We were supposed to meet here, but... oh well, I'm sure he's just late.
I see. I have probably read the, or were quite aware of the events as well.
Yeah, so, I believe even in the text role played that Mr. Harold Lee Smith, when you were talking about to him, that he mentioned that one of the suspects might have died.
Yeah. Right. And beyond waiting for Mr. Emmett, are your previous ambitions still in place?
Well, like I said, I don't believe Emmett to be around no more. But as far as ambitions, the only ambitions I've heard of were those of that redskin, which I'm not quite sure or accurate in thought.
I honestly don't know what you mean with ambitions. I merely strive to stay on my nightly quest, to help the downtrodden, and to journey together with Rosina.
I assume by redskin you meant Rika.
Yep, that's the name.
Quite. Well, speaking of the downtrodden, I might have a quest for you.
And what would that be?
There is a gentleman who used to own a factory in Strawberry, but he does not so anymore. In fact, the erstwhile mayor and sheriff were probably implicated in reappropriating his assets in a most nefarious fashion.
Well, they're dead now.
The wicked and the corrupt always get punished in the end.
Quite so. However, the factory still remains in someone else's possession, and I am currently striving to rectify this state of affairs. I might use some assistance in this matter.
Does the job pay?
I cannot say that it necessarily does so, but rest assured that I have at least been fairly compensated for all of my troubles so far.
It would be an honor to help one of the downtrodden, one who has had such injustice done to him. But what manner of assistance would be given?
Well, as it happens, there is a rival factory in Valentine where I suspect that a shipment of goods has been transported, a shipment that was originally intended to the factory in Strawberry. It is very likely that if we can find this shipment of raw material and find evidence that it is indeed the purportedly lost shipment, that could be used as some great evidence about this conspiracy.
So you want us to find some raw materials? What sort of raw materials? Like iron ore and copper and such?
Guy?
Yep.
You were
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
I said, so what sort of raw materials do you want us to find? Like iron ore and copper and such? Or what are we looking for?
Actually, steel ingots. Marcus can, of course, correct me if I'm wrong in that assessment.
It's yes, steel.
As far as I'm aware, the total or complete picture of it was that a shipment was supposed to come from St. Denis to Strawberry. However, the less than reputable gentleman who owns the farm at, what was it, Crossroads? No.
Hanging Doctor Ranch.
That place. Was implicated and
sorry, Lone Wolf's Steed. That's what it was.
Yeah. He and his cronies, in conjunction with a bribed operator of the bribed train operator, went and took the shipment before it could arrive at Strawberry. And I have reason to believe that it might have been shipped over to Valentine instead.
Now, how would we know that this particular set of steel ingots doesn't rightfully belong to this factory? And secondly,
you might actually still have the copy of the order paper.
What amount of force are you interested in applying to these folks if we do so find some trouble in reacquiring these stolen goods?
The goods themselves were packaged in labeled crates, one of which I've already found. They are rather sizable, so transporting them on their own is a bit difficult, but it appears that the perpetrators have been sloppy in getting rid of the evidence, so it is completely possible that we might still find some incriminating crates over here. As for the punishment, I believe the only way that we can ensure that Mr. Lee, the factory owner, gets his assets back is to make this public. So I would prefer that all those who are in charge at least remain alive to face the proper trial.
All right. Now, that being said, if they draw on me, you best expect that I'm going to draw right back.
Of course, one would not presume to deny a man his right for self-defense.
Now, Your Highness, I would never be so bold as to disregard your wishes, but I feel I have to bring to your attention that bears are not non-lethal.
Oh, yes. Well, as long as we try to restrain our most bestial urges, at least when it comes to the ones who are to stand before a jury, I'm sure that would be sufficient.
So basically, any gunman shoot to kill, but any proper gentleman keep him alive.
She taps her nose, but says nothing.
Right on the button. Got it. Alright, well, where's this factory at? And, let's see what we can't get done.
Let's find it. Is it even on the map at the moment?
No.
It's somewhere nearby.
Yeah, but I can put it on the like little. There we go. It's probably like off to the side because I don't see anybody building a.
No, I think it's a good place right next to the church.
Yeah.
I mean, there's usually never any cemeteries nearby that
Yeah. No.
And considering the factory workers' mortality rate, it's very convenient actually.
Especially back then, eh?
Yep. Yeah,
That's just cruel.
people come in, carts of goods come in, and then just two types of carts come out: finished goods and finished workers.
So you go up to them. That was the best picture that I could find. But yeah, you go up to the steel factory. And there's like you go up to the like this gate portion, and you see one of the like guards there.
Mm.
The guard looks at you as you're approaching, and he's kind of stops you before you manage to enter, and it's like, "Hey, what's your business here? You're approaching private property."
Well, mister, I was looking for work. If that's, if y'all are hiring, that is.
All of ye?
The midget on the bear nods.
Well, not sure what kind of work we can find for a bear, but
That's just his steed. He's talented with animals. He can calm any of the ornery horses.
I would imagine that it could carry a lot of steel.
Well, that you can.
Well, steel factories are always hired. You have no idea how often some of our workers just, well,
Stop working? Yeah, I reckon.
Best hiring speech ever. We're always hiring. You have no idea how often people die in this job.
I wanted to make a joke since you just mentioned it. Yeah, go ahead.
Work at Eric Steel Mill. Everyone here has some form of fucking black lung.
Yep.
Well, you're in luck. Our factory owner is pleased to always have many workers at hand. You wanna take a tour of the factory?
Well, I reckon it'd be required for me to understand exactly what you want me to do.
Of course. As I almost said that he calls up, but there's no phones.
Yes.
There's telegrams.
Yeah, but they're not exactly. You could pull out one and be like, "Hey, boss, we got a couple."
Of course.
Yeah.
He has wires going to his pocket and he has a little Morse, tapper over there.
Pulls out one out of his backpack.
Yep.
Just give me like 30 minutes to set it up.
And then another hour to actually get a message back.
So, in a quick fashion, he makes like a security check and tells you to keep your weapons in their holsters, and he's like, "Hold on, that bear ain't gonna be able to fit inside of the building. You wanna like leave it here? There's a hitching post right there."
If I must. Though the building does seem plenty big enough for a bear.
Well, it just might freak some of the workers and we don't wanna stop them. Safety concerns, you understand.
Good sir, I assure you, Rosinante is absolutely docile, would never hurt a fly.
I just blink and shake my head.
But yeah, you guys go inside and the man starts describing that a man named a man named Edward Chapman owns this building, and his family dates to their main businesses is in Saint Denis.
Oh, really now? Tell me, when do we get to meet the boss man?
The bossman is up there, up in his office. If you wanna be talking to him, I can see if he's busy.
Well, I mean, he is going to have to sign some work permits, because we work for a temp service.
Oh, of course. Let's go into his office and see if he's busy. And he leads you to the like upper floors of the building, where you see a couple of extra cards, just in case. And he lets them know that you're people who want to work. And you go inside of this. I wouldn't describe it as a fancy office at all. It's like it's more like a small storage room that's filled with a small table, a chair, another small table, and piles upon like small papers. And behind the desk you see this hold on. I can give him a token. I have a one.
Real quick, can I get the Google page that you guys created for the weapons on this?
Sure.
It's not pinned anymore, and I'm trying to find it.
Strange. It still should be pinned. Ah, here we go. This is a good picture for him.
My old arch nemesis, John Centerpark.
And the guard explains to him what's going on, and he looks up to you and it's like, "Oh, well, welcome. I need to name this company now, don't I?
Yep.
You know what? I'm just gonna call it Valentine's Steel. Fuck it, that's a good name.
Welcome to company.
Yes.
Welcome to the Welcome Company.
Company.
God damn it,
and-
Marcus.
Welcome to Hard Steel.
Hard Steel.
At least call it something like large rods.
I'm going to look over to Coralie and nod at the gentleman real quick. This is the boss man, right?
So I hear you are wanting a job here.
At that point, I'll quick draw my pistol and blow the brains out of the fucker that led us here.
Well,
Wait, what?
It went so fast.
that went from 0 to 100.
He was just welcoming you. Wait, what?
I like
Our whole point
paying attention for a second, and I just heard I blow the brains out. I was like, holy shit.
Even if you had paid attention, that came out of nowhere.
Yes, it did.
Wait, I completely missed out. What?
Alright. Our whole point was to get in here and get this guy to surrender, correct?
No.
No.
Find evidence.
You wanted to find evidence if they had like leftover shipments from the stolen.
My bad. My
Yeah.
bad.
Okay.
My brain
Try,
was acting.
You became
try telling that to the
Tell
that to the owner. You just shot his, guard.
I didn't roll the attack.
You became Rika there for a second. Come on.
Like, what?
No.
I'm now expecting this shit to happen tomorrow, where it's just like I'm gonna have like this Jedi walk up to you, and one of you is just gonna be like, "Oh yeah," so the Jedi greets you warmly and says hello, and one of the party members is that I pull out my fucking
I blast him.
The one
My heavy
time when I
blast.
throw something that's
No, I'm sorry. I was acting faster than the story was progressing.
I know, right? It's like it's probably because I usually use all with guns your issues, but the one time when you need to actually do a little bit of talking, you're like, I pull out my gun.
I pull out my pistol and shoot the evidence.
I shoot the words.
I shoot at his
My bad. My bad.
piles of paper that he has on his tables.
Alright, enough. Anyways.
Well, yes, sir. We are looking for a job.
Well now,
It is.
we're always be looking some good workers, but it seems that not all of you looks like working shape, as he points to the midget and Corey.
Well, he's real good with working with animals and such. I mean, he was able to train a bear. So, if you have horses that are uppity, he can get them to calm down. And because he's so small, he can get in spots that us grown men can't get into. So, like if a piece of the machinery ain't working right, it's like a child. You got children working for you. I know you do.
Well, we are
So he works great.
still factory, but we do some shipments in inclusion with some other companies.
And see, that's where I come in, right? I'm a trained coachman, and I've been doing this a long time. Now, Miss Coralie here, she'd make a great secretary. That entire stack of paperwork, I bet she can get through it in under an hour.
Wow. I would like to see that very much.
So will he hire us?
Well, you know what? You do seem up and spirited and ready to go. I just gotta see your work spirit in action there. So,
Well, boss, what do you need us to do? I'm a quick learner. You teach me a skill, I get it done.
Tell you what, is any of you like a mechanic?
I look over to Cletus Earl.
Unfortunately, I am not a mechanic.
Sadly, sir, that's the one part of our little troop of workers that we don't have filled yet.
Well, I had an idea.
As far as I'm aware, unless somebody else picked up a skill.
Well, what are you good?
I am unfortunately not a mechanic, but what I do make up in my lack of mechanical skills, I took some college courses, and I took business management. I can look over papers, and I can make sure that you're getting the best possible deal.
I see. Well,
in other words, I have evaluate, and I'm going to use it like a money matters course.
I'm currently a little busy here, but we'll sign your work papers later on. But if you say that, actually, did any of you like introduce yourself? No.
I did not say names.
Yeah.
Except for
well,
Corley.
what are you? What are your names there?
Well, my name's Jim, and that's Joe. The midget feller. You know, what is your name? Because we just been calling you nigger for like last year and a half, ain't we?
It's Rod.
I see your.
Like I said, it's easier to call him nigger.
I see your nigger friend is a little slow there.
He spends all his time with our horses. He doesn't talk too much. Like I said, he's great with animals.
Well, we have
absolutely fantastic, second to none.
We have a few carriages out in the back with horses that he could take a look at. And meanwhile, you, the Corey, I could use assistance with these papers here. And the two men there, Cletus and Grayson, tell you what...
Jim and Joe.
I mean, Jim and Joe, that's what I meant to say. But I already forgot your aliases since your names in the Roll20 are in there. But tell you what, Jim and Joe there. There's, we managed to receive a shipment of steel a little while ago from some deliverers, and we have a little bit of it left here, and we needed it to be delivered into a certain section of the factory, so it can be ready to be processed.
Alright
then.
And as I said, we'll get back to the paper soon as I'll find them here on the floor. Now, excuse me, I need to go back to the paperwork. My higher ups from Saint Denis are very demanding.
Like I said, I could help you with that paperwork.
Ah, well, that's even perfect. I could have two.
Oh, come on now, Joe. That's woman's work.
I suppose you're right.
Plus, I'm going to need an extra set of hands.
I would like to make a personal note that Cletus is physically deficient, being such that he's almost 60.
So, you guys are assigned to your workstations. Now, Samuel, also known as Rod, goes to the garages where he handles the couple of workhorses that they have, and Corey's helping out with the paperwork while Grayson and Cletus, also known as Jim and Joe now, go into the warehouse
Oh shit! I closed roll 20.
Lumbago. So you go up to the drop off point where it's meant to drop off any goods.
I do got that lumbago. Limbago.
And you go up to the I almost want to say shift manager, but the guy who's in charge here.
Well,
yeah, that would be a shift manager.
Yeah, shift manager.
Or a foreman.
The foreman would be at this time probably the more accurate term.
Before we report in, I want to talk to Joe.
So you go up to him and he's like this. Would I have a token? It doesn't matter.
Like I said, before we talk to him, I want to talk to Joe.
Okay.
Now, Jim, I'm real sick. Lumbago.
The whole point behind getting you away from working in that office was so that we could come up with a plan.
I was just gonna hit him over the head with a crowbar. What's the actual plan?
Well, you're good at finding all these treasures and such.
I am indeed.
That means you got a pair of eyes and ears that I ain't got.
Alright.
I need you to claim elderly or some shit, that you need a break or whatever, and take a look around.
Alright.
See what you can find. See if you can find any of that steel ingots. When you do, come let me know, and we'll go get our, as I do air quotes, paper signed by the boss man.
Alright.
You good with that?
Yeah, that sounds about easy.
And we'll go ahead and report into the foreman.
A lot of it's like transaction papers with what company, what date, which names, the amount of sums, and fun stuff like that.
Well, I don't suppose I have access to all of the books, but at least some correspondence or whatnot, which might be interesting.
In fact,
names to remember.
Since you're the only one who knows this, there's a certain company that this factory seems to deal with quite a lot, named Midnight Company. Cough, cough.
Yes.
Midnight Company, a company that operates in daylight.
But yeah, you Jim and Joe go up to the foreman, and he's like, "Alright, boys, there's shipments of steel here that need to be compressed and made, so we need them to be carried up to the top floor, where the machinery was."
All right.
Roger that, sir.
So the two of you start carrying these like heavy steel boxes. There's a couple of random workers there. One of them even tries to like chit chat to you, and he's like, "Hey, you. So you're a new worker, right?"
That's right.
Cool. My name's Jimmy Chan.
God, fucking
Jimmy John?
Seriously?
What, you make sandwiches or something?
No, I'm a worker here. Pleased to meet you.
Likewise, I guess.
And he goes back to his work. Just
Hey,
trying to be
Jimmy.
friendly.
I look at Jim and I'm just like, that man was the creepiest motherfucker I've ever met. I met some creepy motherfuckers.
That man's name was Jimmy John.
The sandwich chain here in America. I've met some Jim Bobs. Never met a Jimmy John before.
That man's family must have all been drunk.
For all 9 months. Oh,
There was a kid.
His family were all cousins.
When I was in was in middle school, they did an announcement to call a kid down to the office because his parents had to bring something up there for him. And when they called his name over the intercom, his name was like Blanca Nino, which means white boy in Spanish. So like the second it was read over the announcements, everyone in the class who was Hispanic collectively laughed.
Anyway, I'm not gonna make any of you roll any checks for these unless you really want to do something special. But I'm just gonna be like fast forward in time here as you guys are.
Just give me the signal to complain about lumbago.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I want to be tending to horse and not talk a lot.
Yeah, you are just tending to like work horses. They're
What's that? That's a Negro that can string words together. Kick his ass.
But we're gonna be focusing Jim and Joe now, or Grayson and Cletus.
Jim and Joe.
So the two of you carry some like shipments of like steelware, and you give Cletus like the single at some point. I would imagine like a few hours into your shift. You don't want to make it obvious.
Of course not.
No, like instantly after the foreman gives you the job. Oh no!
Yeah, no. We move a couple of crates, then, after a little bit, he starts complaining about lumbago.
Like legitimately, you see me pick up one of the ingots or like one of the rods, start carrying it over, and then you just see me drop. And I'm like, oh God, oh Lord Jesus in heaven, the lumbago, it's finally come for me.
Actually, Jimmy Chan comes up to you and is like, "Hey, what's wrong there?"
The lumbago, it's finally come for me. My back, it's out. It's over.
I'll if there
Your name,
was
that's so stupid
like,
it physically hurts me.
Oh, come on now, Joe. You just need about 15 minutes to chill out. You'll be alright. You know it ain't killing you.
was there like a performance?
There is a perform skill, actor. That is a skill that I do not physically have.
I'll give you. Let's see. Do you have like charm or anything?
No.
Okay, give me
concealment. Can I
just
roll
like a straight up fellowship test. You can't fail this one, but it's just to see how either annoying or convincing you are.
Can I roll concealment to conceal the fact that I'm full of shit?
You know, that's not exactly how that skill works, but sure.
I know that's not how that skill. I know that's not how that skill works, but it's the difference between rolling a 23 and rolling a 73.
I know.
Number. You know, I could still completely cock it up. You never know.
You could.
Yep. I'll use my last fate point, the only fate point I have to re-roll that shit. There we go. Life is grand.
So,
Hey, that was a good wording with it. Hey, can I roll concealment to conceal the fact that I'm full of shit?
so at first you're like lumbago, but everybody's like at first like, what the fuck is that? Then you start to like spasm a little bit more, and then you
Complaining about my back.
Then finally like people are like, what the hell's going on?
Can I roll gossip to see if
Good God, it's all over. The lumbago, it's finally come.
I want to talk with some of the other workers and see if they know of anything suspicious without being overt about it. I just want to like get to know the workers and be like, hey, so you know, how well's business been lately? You know, things of that nature.
Oh.
And what's with all the armed guards? You know.
Yeah, go ahead and give me like a gossip.
Alright, any bonus?
They're a little distracted now, so I would imagine that it might maybe work to your benefit, because the guard is kind of dropped down. Roll me straight up.
Boom.
Oh wow! So you go up to one of the workers and you ask him like, "Hey, how's business?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, we got a shipment from the Midnight Company. It's stored over there. It's quite a big shipment from the train from Saint Denis." And that's a dog crying next to me.
And, you know, was it unexpected or?
Hold on, give me a second. I need to let the dog outside. She's freaking bullying me.
Well, his brains out. Boom.
The dog was crying right next to him. To be fair, I would too if I was within his presence 24/7.
That's fair.
God damn, I'm a rude bastard.
So am I, man. They offered me a job and I shot him I was going to shoot him in the face.
Okay, sorry about that. My dog really needed a piss break. Everybody still here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So what I was just... Oh yeah, you were gossiping the guy, so he's like, oh yeah, there's a shipment back there.
Yeah, was it unexpected?
Oh yeah, this group of caravan owners came by and they had crates of shipment with them. Kinda strange, but oh well. Yeah.
Is he talking loud enough to where Joe can hear him?
He might be a little talking like loudly. He's a little panicked because he's a little worried that Cletus might have some kind of a heart attack. And it's not a huge room.
it's gone from like complaints of lumbago finally coming for him to, oh Danny boy, the pipes are calling.
Alright, well, I guess I'll be the one to sidestep the situation.
Yeah, you're literally the only one there.
Well, I meant that. Yeah, the idea was that Joe would be the one to go and investigate. But I guess I'll.
I mean, I can stop complaining of lumbago and
You
go
done.
and
You done
take my
pulled a
30
good.
minutes.
Yeah, you done pulled a good distraction. So I'll. And I figured out where the goods are, so I'll go there.
You quickly go away from the scene, a little further into the storage, and since they're still distracted, there's a few random workers in this section, but they're doing their own thing and don't really give a hoot. What are you doing?
Alright.
So you quickly go over to this like stack of boxes and start like rummaging through them. Would you have search your perception?
I do have perception.
Roll me that. There's more than a few like crates here that you have to rummage through, and you gotta be sort of perceptive to. No, that's Oh.
You are blind as a bitch.
I didn't say I was good at it.
I know.
Just that I had it.
But so you're going through the boxes. You're going through the crates and the steel ignuts and the deliveries, and you're making a bit of noise there as one of the workers comes up to like behind you and is like, "Hey, you got a problem there, friend?"
Quickly say you dropped your smokes.
I dropped my smokes and a damn rat picked them up and ran off with them. I'm trying to find them.
I wonder if you have like. Oh yeah, that's no deceive. I almost forgot. Oh well, your charisma is kind of poop anyways. It's like, really now? Well, where did?
What, you calling me a liar?
Where did they drop?
When he had his lumbago fit, I figured it'd be a good enough time for a smoke break. I went to pull him out. It fell out of my damn hand. A rat grabbed him, ran off this way.
Well, then why are you looking at the box there? The crate.
Because I heard him scurrying around inside it.
Oh.
What, you think I'm some sort of idiot?
Well,
You know, you're really nagging me about looking in this crate. What's the issue?
nothing much. Yeah, can I help? Can you share those smokes?
You're just trying to escape work. You were looking for a place to sleep. You know, if the boss man hears this, we're gonna have a real issue, ain't we?
Well, no, that's don't you? Or
Here I am just trying to get my smoke so I can get back to work. You're looking for a place to sleep. What the hell's wrong with you, boy? Don't you know a good job is hard to come by?
it's just
Like how fast he turned that around on your ass.
it's like, well.
You know what? You should just get back to work before I tell the boss man and get your ass fired.
Since this guy is just a random worker here, and doesn't have any authority, and since you brought it upon him, he's like, oh, what? No? And packs off a little. Alright, I'll leave you to your smoke.
Like, I like how fast you just turned that around on that fucking...
Hey, that was a decent lie. Sure, I could have been asking a fellowship roll right there and be like, alright, convince him.
He's just like, I'm not afraid of the boss, I'll get fired, fuck you, motherfucker! He pulls out a gun.
He doesn't even have a gun, he pulls out like a wrench.
He's like, I'll murder you right in here, fuck you!
Yeah, that was pretty witty of me to flip the switch on him.
Hey, well done. Which,
Thank you.
but you know, for time, you're not exactly know where you're looking, but you finally find like ignites that are different from like the others in terms of like quality, and they look a little bit more like the shipment looks like it's a little bit more like recent. The rest of the stuff, it's like it looks like it's been sitting here for quite a while, and you think to yourself, oh, this might be most likely them.
I'm gonna put one in a pouch and get back to work for a little bit until I can find myself a reasonable line of sight with Corey.
Hang on. Yeah, you guys work. The rest of the shift goes probably uneventful unless somebody wants to make another scene. I'll take that as a no.
Not now, I'm carrying the goods.
Yep. So the work shift ends, and you guys like gather up for until the end of the work shift, and the guard that you were talking when you came up in here, he comes up to you guys and says like, well, Bossman is quite happy about your performance today. If you want to come back tomorrow, we can sign those work papers.
I reckon we'll be back. What's our pay for the day anyways?
Oh, yes, let's see. That would be all of healthy. Oh, wait, they pay weekly. Well, we pay weekly there.
Wait, now you ain't going to jip me out of my pay for the day. You know, if we come back and you don't sign the papers, you ain't getting free labor from me.
The bodyguard looks upon you and kind of shrugs and pulls out a few dollars.
Now that's right.
Pays you all of $1 per person, pretty much.
Well, it'll buy me a whiskey.
Hopefully a little bit more than a whiskey, but yeah. $1 a day.
So, after the workday ends, you guys walk onto the streets. Little tired after the long labor day.
I look at the non-filthy Corey and go, Miss Lee, I do believe we found the goods. As I hand out the ingot, that look like the ones that you've been finding?
I inspect the ingot. Are there any markings on it?
There's a serial number that all ingots have.
Ooh. Ooh, good. Yes, this might be very well it. Were the crates labeled by perchance?
GM, were there labels on the crates?
There was something, but I didn't. Can you read?
No, I can't. But if I can see markings of some sort, then I can go. Yes, it was labeled. I don't. know
Okay,
how to read
yeah.
and
I
write.
was just making sure if you because what you saw really quickly, there was some labeling on them, but actually I should have asked you another perception check for that one. You wanna give me like after perception check to see how well you wouldn't like noticed it? Actually, it would be obvious, so this would be with like a plus 30.
Okay, with a plus 30, then yeah, I made it.
Yeah, you were looking at the label, but you noticed that somebody had really quickly tried to cover it up. Like previously it had read something else. But somebody had tried to cover up really sloppily.
Yeah, it's labeled all right, but you can't really make it out. Some nincompoop spilled paint all over it, and, try to cover it up.
Hmm.
Silly fool,
Right.
however, forgot that paint falls into the cracks of edged markings. So
You estimate that
it's sloppy. It's sloppy.
you estimate that there was like 2 crates currently in here, like left, but you can tell like that there was more from what the people were talking about.
Yeah, they're in a hurry to use this stuff because they said it only came in a few days ago.
Not
There was
a
more
few
crates,
days
but,
ago, but sorry, that the shipment like a
Yeah,
couple of weeks
we might
ago.
have to. We might have to move on that.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I'm a little tired right now, but I could probably still go a little bit longer and, finding Boss Man, locking him up. It'll be worth it.
Well, we might wish to take this up with the sheriff. Assuming he is of the reputable sort.
Now, see, this is why I was a little hesitant. You see, one of us is a known associate of what went down over at Strawberry. As I glanced down, and, well, needless to say, grabbing unwanted attention isn't exactly great for our necks. So maybe you go talk with the sheriff, and we go scout out, see where the boss man's going, if he's leaving, or if he lives in the factory. I don't know why he would live in the factory, but, just find out where he's at and keep an eye on him. I personally don't feel like dealing with no lawmen.
Understood.
Okay.
So, I am heading to the sheriff's office. The rest of you are trailing the factory owner, and then we'll meet at the saloon
Yep, sounds good.
for victory drinks and tea and metals.
Okay. Fair enough.
And ladies of ill repute.
Yeah, so you go up to the sheriff and you see the. I'm gonna focus on you first, Corey. So yeah.
Right.
You go up to the sheriff and you see him. There you go. And he has the badge of sheriff, and you see a few deputies in here. And they seem to be, since it's evening, it's still open. So thankfully you're let in. And you approach the sheriff, and he goes like, tips his head and takes a look at you, and is like, "Oh well, Missy, how can I help you?" As he like tips his hat to you.
Well, there is a matter that has come to my attention. Are you familiar with the events that took place on date of when shipment went missing?
Yeah, that was like 3 weeks ago. Oh, that date in particular? Should something happened?
Well, it was brought to my attention that a sizable shipment was lost or went missing around these parts, and I believe that I might have some idea of where it might have gone.
Oh yes, I remember now. He like rummages through like some papers and pulls out like a telegram. And there we go. Report by Harold Lee's Smith. Yeah, this claim mission was disproven because the shipment was claimed found, oh well, received at the destination.
Ah, well, that is most peculiar because I could have sworn that I saw crates labeled belonging to the company at a place where they probably really shouldn't be, near the train tracks.
That-
And, that got me thinking.
Really now?
I was just curious if there might be some sort of reward involved in this,
Well, if
or if law enforcement would be even interested in
well,
looking
if
into it.
there has been a case of stolen goods, and little Missy can prove it like she said, we'll jump on the matter immediately. Such a heinous crime cannot be committed in my town.
You do have the iron ingot.
Yes, I do, but I'm just trying to wonder what the is it just perception? Do we have here like scrutiny or something
Perception,
similar?
it would be straight perception.
All right. Well, roll perception.
He
just checking
seems
if,
like
if
he's
he
a little
appears to be-
surprised by this fact.
Okay.
He seems like, oh, he had like no idea that any kind of criminal activity might have gone in his town.
Okay. But he seems genuinely surprised and
Oh yeah,
not.
he's
Okay.
like, oh,
Good. Well, I hesitate to point fingers as such, but I was in contact with the good Mr. Lee prior to this, and he gave me some particulars on the shipment in question, and this appears to be one of the ingots that was promised to be delivered to him, but which never arrived. And I produced the iron ingot.
he like stares straight in the serial number, and it's like, this is quite a good quality ironing. The steel ignite. Where did you find it?
Well, the most peculiar thing about this all is that there appeared to be a crate or a couple of crates full of these at the factory over by the church. Something which Mr. Lee adamantly claims is impossible because he was still missing his shipment. And obviously, I would say Mr. Lee would not be inclined to lie on this matter because the loss of the shipment greatly and gravely impacted his own fortunes.
May you happen to have the transit papers with you do, by the way, out of character?
Yes, just a moment, and I rummage in my bag and produce some paperwork.
They're the papers that Mr. Lee gave you, and they were about the shipment and the serial codes and where it's from and so on. And he compares like the numbers on the shipment to the like serial number. And it's like, well now. Did she mention where did she find them? Sorry, I completely...
Yep.
Yeah, in the factory.
She mentioned that they were found at the factory.
Well now. I guess we're gonna be paying a visit, boss! As he looks at the deputies and they're like, nod and get ready. We appreciate for telling such heinous crimes in our territory.
It's only what any honest citizen of the States would do.
Now excuse us, miss. We need to do our dutiful job and bring such criminals in line. You see them gear up in quite a quick fashion, and they lock up like the sheriff's office and start walking towards the factory.
Alright.
Meanwhile, as the guys have been stalking out the factory, it's nearing night. As finally the factory worker, the factory workers have left out of the place, and finally like the owner starts walking out. As all of a sudden you guys see a sheriff come up to the factory with a couple of deputies in line. Let's
I'm gonna have my pistols drawn, kind of standing off to the side out of the way, preferably in shadows or something,
and
just in case things get hairy.
you see them like yell to the guy. What? I already forgot his the owner's name. I gave him an Edward Chapman. Are you Edward Chapman? And the owner goes like, yeah, yes? We have some business with you. You'll come with us. And you see the sheriff like drag the deputy, the owner inside of the factory. And they put him in quickly in cuffs. Did they even have cuffs? Oh yeah, they had.
Yeah, they had cuffs.
$5 change hands. Good to do business with you. Miss Corley, you're under arrest.
And you see them drag him inside of the place with the paper and one of the ignites in their hands. You're not quite certain what happens inside of the factory. But, An hour later.
Can I get closer to the factory to, perhaps check it out?
Sure. That's maybe like the front card, and maybe like the back card. But you can definitely climb the fence and check what's going on.
Okay. Then, yeah, I'll do that.
I'm not gonna even make you roll a stealth check since it is pretty dark at this point. You go up near the like section where you were working, and inside of you there you hear the sheriff yelling to the owner. You can't quite make out what they're yelling, but it sounds pretty aggressive and your typical, you have committed a crime.
Yeah, I can't make it out.
Yeah, you can't be exactly certain. But like I said, unless you wanna try something else, like an hour or so passes until they drag the owner out of the place, and they take few of the like cards with them too, and they all travel back into the sheriff's office.
Well, boys, I guess job's done.
What a glorious victory for justice.
Yeah, let's go see about our payment. We worked hard.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be holding my breath for that if I were you.
But at what cost? The lumbago.
Bingo.
Oh, shut the hell up.
Now it just comes to your mind that there weren't, well, actually Cory would be the only one aware of the guys who still had a small portion of the other shipment, like the shipment. She was the only one who met them, well, quote unquote, met them at the Painted Sky. But those were just the guys who captured the loot.
Well, shipped it.
Yeah, shipped it. So, now somewhat content that you captured some notorious scheme to resell some steel.
Nefarious plot.
Yes.
The party gathers up together
Nefarious be a well-known scheme.
at the saloon.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And you look at each other and nod. No. Tell me, what do you do?
Oh, bourbon is being ordered.
Yeah,
We'll
we're
have a
getting
drink.
whiskey.
Some really shitty vodka for me.
Nah, you just get half a shot. But you also get the good stuff.
No, I'll order the good shit.
Hmm.
Corey has learned a valuable lesson to appreciate the services of the Negro, and rewards him in kind with half as much as the white man.
It has been a good few days.
Uh,
Found
Learn the lesson, eh?
Well,
Yes.
it's been a good few days. We appropriated some treasure, and we put the stop in the nefarious scheme.
Well, not fully, but
Now,
yes.
Shut up, you. Voice in my head.
what the sheriff end up giving you for a reward? We got to split this evenly.
Well, there wasn't much of a reward as such, but now we have evidence that the steel company was indeed involved in all of this. So I believe that Mr. Lee is now able to get fair compensation for the troubles that have been caused to him.
Well, that's good for Mr. Lee, but how's that put food in my stomach?
Well, Mr. Lee has been more than generous in compensating the efforts that I've done so far. I'm sure that he will also extend this generosity to you as well.
Show them the money that you got.
However, for the immediate, this night's on me.
This night, like everything, or just the liquor and food?
I think I could probably actually afford the entire night, everything. So we'll go with everything.
Oh, in that case, Sam is going to drink you out of all of your money.
Have you maxed toughness and carouse? I mean, consume alcohol.
He has trained consume alcohol, and he is very tough, yes.
Quickly,
Excellent.
Bring back the scene from the last Warhammer Fantasy where you had a drinking scene inside of the wagon.
Oh yeah, where I won.
I win at consume alcohol.
I was by the time that everyone had awoken from their drunken stupor, I was still awake drinking.
As it turns out, the half shot is enough to send Sam over the edge.
Oh man, I'm totally imagining that Samuel was gearing up for. Oh my God, all the free alcohol. Yes, finally, everything's coming up, Samuel. And yeah,
like the first.
And then half the shot just.
He'd never tasted anything so good. He just passed out from the flavor.
Yeah.
No. We gotta.
Everything's coming up, Samuel. Yeah, everything is coming up.
we gotta roll on the stinking trunk table. Come on.
He vomits over everyone's collective boots and then passes out.
Come on, Huller. Roll on the stinking trunk table. That's 300. Yeah,
Oh, man.
he's asleep.
Oh dear.
Sleep now. We pass out in a pool of your own vomit for 1d10 hours.
What shall we do with the drunken nigger? What shall we do with the drunken nigger? What shall we do with the drunken nigger early in the morning?
Stringing him up till his feet can't touch the ground.
Yep.
Turns out that was the first time that Samuel ever freaking drank.
Which, I mean, considering his height isn't that high up. It's like slightly above counter. Ugh. Hooray! We got halfway through the main quest line.
I know, right?
Yep.
I like
in which the party got into the main quest line within the same session.
Well, you're like 1/4 into the first main quest line quest.
I like how 61 to 70 is So, confused or resolute, you're not sure what's going on. You lash out randomly, either verbally, if not in combat, or with a weapon.
Like I had this whole thing.
So, if we are in combat, you will whip out a weapon and try and smack whoever's closer to you. But I don't know why in the fuck you would be drinking in combat.
Like,
It's if you're drunk in the midst of combat.
Wait,
Drunk
do you
and
not?
master.
like
Well, it's a fair point, actually.
I had the whole thing written out, but soon as the party split up, like at session 2, I had to switch the entire like main story a little to make it a little bit more viable for, pretty much like a solo adventure.
I mean, we got together in the end,
I know, right? And
and valuable life lessons were learned.
you're not even like 1/4 of the way through.
It was a very valuable life lesson, Lumbake.
What you're saying, Marcus, is that there's going to be many more sessions of this campaign.
Fuck no!
Well,
This
as
is
you know,
literally it, guys. Enjoy while it lasts.
Well, as you know, I will be gone next week and the week after.
I know.
Grayson sleeps with all of the whores.
Crap. Our Tolkien character is gone.
All of them.
Yeah, so if Aller starts on the 2nd, I will not be there.
I will not, because I will also not be here on the 2nd. So earliest we'll be starting is on the 9th.
Off week?
Yeah, well, I'm still gone.
Sounds like we're gonna have an
Oh,
off week because we're
off
not gonna
week.
have enough players and... Yeah.
I will be back on the 11th, which is a Monday. I might even miss the D&D session I have on Monday.
Alright. That sounds fine.
So Star Wars tomorrow, right?
Star Wars tomorrow, unless you guys still wanna do something.
Well, I just said that Grayson sleeps with all of the whores.
I'm not sure Corey agrees with that.
You said you'd pay for the entire night.
I kept hearing he sleeps with all the horses, so
Whores.
interpret that as you wish.
Whores. Ladies of ill repute.
He passes out in the stables.
By the time he's done, probably.
See, I got the complete different impression when you said offer everything.
Yeah, no.
God damn it, Marcus.
Alright, after...
So, in epilogue.
Epilogue,
Hey,
you guys
hey,
wake up in the
hey.
morning, and you're a little glad that you have partially made the world a little better place, and you guys travel back to Strawberry.
What? Oh, yeah. That's right. Shit.
Why in the absolute shitting? Oh, that's right. We're gonna collect your
Unfortunately, as you go and try and wake up Rika to come up with you, you find out that
No, we don't.
you're just for freaking leaving him there.
I mean, we did pay for the doctor to take care of him.
He paid for
Actually, tell you what, since he didn't show up today and last week, and this is pretty much the last season, you see the sheriff's bringing him in. And he doesn't have either of his arms, he was amputated.
That's unfortunate. If we had seen proof of Emmett's demise, I probably would have just pushed a pillow in his face. Ended the pain.
I mean, I'm totally imagining that that someone who claimed to be his relative came to pick him up. and he basically became the songbird.
It has been declared that Emmett probably died in the fire, but I like to believe I secretly rolled the fate point.
Burn the fate point.
The fire burned all your fate points, mate.
Ah, but did it burn him?
Mm.
It's quite the being riposte.
We're filled with them today, apparently.
Yep.
Actually,
I knew he would become Ozymandias in the end.
oh, that's strawberry.
So we see the sheriff bringing Rika in.
Yeah, they bring Rika in and...
You know, some things are better left unseen.
Well, time to retire somewhere else.
Cletus Earl never did retire. He continues to hunt down treasure and suffering from spouts.
So,
Lumbago.
you guys travel to Strawberry, and the day after, it's on the news that the criminal who shot the Strawberry's mayor was captured and brought to justice.
Yeah, the entire ride back to Strawberry, Grayson is sweating bullets.
You guys go to Harold Lee's office. Well... at her neighbors. Nice. So yeah, you go up in the warehouse, and you meet up with Harold Lee Smith. He was quite pleased to see Corey again, but goes like, who are these gentlemen?
Oh, they're my, I suppose, associates.
My name is Cletus Earl.
Grayson slain.
I am a treasure hunter and cryptozoologist.
Oh no, I read the papers here. The main title is Corruption, Stolen Goods at Valentine. Fairly good work.
Yep, that was us.
My name has been cleared, and it seems that the marshal has cleared me out of all of my charges.
What now?
Excellent news. Excellent news.
Charges.
Yes, the previous mayor had put me under quote-unquote house arrest.
For what?
Well, it's in the past now. I don't not talk about it, but we had some criminal activities in my company. But since now that Miss Curly here managed to solve it, my name's being cleared out of all of that heinous activity.
Well, good to hear. Now, Miss Carly mentioned you were willing to pay handsomely for making this go away.
Now that my name has been cleared and my wealth has been... I'm able to access my wealth again, I can reward you quite well. Is there anything that you would want?
Anything that I would want.
Well, within the possible limits that I could provide. I am fairly influential and wealthy, but try to keep your wishes.
Reasonable.
Reasonable.
We want green things.
Okay, orcs. Roll initiative.
I don't wanna. I surrender to the orcs. How does that go over, Marcus?
They take you to their cave.
Oh dear.
They don't accept your surrender.
What if I said, pretty please?
Well, for that you would need to be pretty.
Oh, shots fired.
They'll make
Well,
you.
he's got me there.
They'll make you their prison bitch.
And we're in Goblin Slayer again.
I didn't realize that. Well, for starters, that we were in prison. But okay. I'll hold this pocket, as the age-old prison saying goes.
Hey,
It's not good if
this
you're
is
in
your
prison.
one chance to wish something awesome, and
Well,
I chose
I
surrender.
could go for matching set of magnums and I don't know, maybe one of them fancy stars that sheriffs like to wear so much.
Marcus, tell me what the fuck Sam would ask of a steel manufacturer.
well, he said that you could ask for
Bear armor.
Bear
Bear armor.
Good
Yep.
sir, I would like a stagecoach with a dedicated driver.
Oh,
Well, I'm right here.
Well, now I got my dedicated driver. Now I just want a very, very nice stagecoach.
But only if he gives me my magnums.
How many Gatling guns can we install on a bear?
All of them.
Correct answer.
you need more, Deca. I see that
You always need more Daka.
you want to be a traveler. The weaponry and the coach is completely within my...
I want you to know that I started thinking about that fucking the Soviet Womble video on Rising Storm Vietnam. But they had a firing line with heavy machine guns, and one of them just shouted more DACA.
Good.
Well, all of these are within my power to
I heard
grant.
that we needed more DACA, and he brought a flamethrower and he hit all of the machine gun guys by accident.
Those magnums, I want them to be the finest quality.
Well, in fact, the sheriff in this town was skilled if you want to take his position. In fact, it might look like I might become the mayor of this town and we could have a healthy working relationship.
Well, it might be
Well-
difficult to be sheriff if I'm his stagecoach driver. But
Well,
make money as a sheriff. We'll keep it on the table.
Of course.
if you become the mayor, then I'd like permission to raise my keep on the outskirts of town and live out my days there.
Of course.
I once again asked for a stagecoach.
Of course. He in fact points to the few of the stagecoaches that they just happen to own.
Alrighty then, I'm going to Blackwater and I'm gonna find me some more treasure.
As I guess we fade you pretty much to black.
That's racist.
We fade to morally grey with a...
No, we like I joked, we fast forward to World War I when you're all drafted. Alright.
I don't know why I'd be drafted. I'm almost
How
fucking...
old are we going to be?
Marcus, there's a fundamental problem with that, and that is that my character would be 60 or 70.
I
Would
know.
be
That was a
ineligible
complete
for draft.
joke when I made that
I know,
originally.
I know it was a joke, but I'm glad I made a character roughly that age. It's just like, all right, we're drafting people out for the war. I'm like, I'm 70. I can't
Not
fight.
fucking happening.
Aren't we still 100 years away from World War One?
No.
No, 1885.
Only 29. Only 29 years.
Yeah, if anything, I'd have to start making that mandatory toughness check that Marcus does when you're around that age. If you fail, you die.
Well, that was only for that one situation since I wanted to do something different.
Well, you know, shockingly, I'd be around the age where you would realistically kill him.
Oh well. Kind of an anticlimactic ending, but what you can do.
What do you expect? It's Red Dead Redemption.
Mm.
Which is funny because I couldn't even manage to do some of the things that I had.